kind of asked for it, didn't ask for it. I just said, if you need someone to fight her, I'll fight her. If you can't find anyone else, like, I'm not afraid to fight her. I'm not afraid to fight anyone in the division. And they said okay, and about a week later they said, if you still want the fight, you know, it's yours. We've offered it to top 10 fighters, to top 5 fighters, and they all say they're either hurt, they don't want it, or they don't want to go to Brazil. And I said, well, I'm fine with all those, so I'll take it.
But when you offered the UFC that said you were willing to take this, did you actually expect it to be offered this since you was coming off a title fight and all that?
Yeah, I definitely did think it was going to be a possibility. I know that a lot of girls don't want to fight her. They want to have these pincushion fights, you know, these easy fights for them. They want to, they want to keep their job, and I understand that. But we're here to fight. We're here to fight the best, and the only way to get to the belt is fighting the best. And I think Claudia is one of the, the top fighters in the division. Obviously, she's ranked #1. She has 2 losses in the UFC. I have 2 losses in the UFC. Yes, hers have come to the champion, but at the same time, if you look on paper, we're right there. There's a lot of girls in the division that only have 3 wins, and no one's really a consistent fighter right now in our division except for Joanna. Everyone's winning some and losing some. So I feel like everyone's kind of right there in the mix with everyone, and I think that everyone should just fight everyone and stop trying to take easy fights.
Many fighters don't like the idea of coming here to Brazil to fight. Why do you think that people don't like it? Did you have to change anything, the way you're training or mindset, all of that, because you are coming here to fight?
No, I didn't have to change my mindset or anything. Going into it, hostile territory, into someone else's hometown, that they're going to boo you. They're not going to like you. But what they have to also see is with the fans in Brazil and the fans in the MMA community, that changes very quickly, as the fight goes on. They just respect the fighters in general. Of course, they're going to be cheering for their countrymen, but at the end of the day, they're just there to see a fight, and a good fight, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm here to put on a show and make sure the fans are getting what they want.
How do you see Claudia as a matchup for you in terms of styles?
I think it's a good matchup. I think it's a classic striker versus grappler kind of situation. I mean, she's a great wrestler. She has, she's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Her striking is good, but I'm also, she might be bigger as far as physique-wise goes, muscle-wise, but I'm a lot taller than her. I think I'm just as strong as she is. I think she's going to be shocked on that. It just doesn't show as much because I have a bigger frame, so my muscles are a little bit longer than hers. But I definitely think it's a good matchup. I think I'm very active when it does come to the ground, and I'm a pretty technical striker as well. So I think it actually matches up quite well.
How do you see yourself beating her?
I'm right now. I'm just focused on making sure that I execute my game plan really well, and I think if I do that, I definitely think I'll be coming out on top.
It's a secret.
It's just not so much a secret, but just kind of wait and see.
There's no clear contender in the division right now. Joanna Jędrzejczyk just defended her belt. Do you think that beating Claudia convincingly here in Brazil puts you right there as the next #1?
I don't know. The rankings are kind of weird. I mean, I just got bumped out of the rankings because Alexis Grasso fought Heather Jo Clark, and Heather Jo Clark's not even ranked. If it means going in the distance with a non-ranked fighter to get ranked, then I should have been ranked a lot earlier, because I went 3 rounds with JoJo, and she was ranked #9, but I didn't get ranked after that fight. So, I mean, the rankings really don't make sense, but I definitely think if I do put on a good performance and I do come out with the win, which I'm planning on, and a convincing win, I definitely think I should at least be in the top 5, easily.
You're coming off 2 big wins, coming back from a rough start in the UFC. What went different? What went wrong in your first fight that you had those couple of losses and were able to come back?
My first fight was on 8 days' notice. I traveled again all the way to Scotland and fought JoJo over there, which again, #9 ranked girl in the world. I put on a good show there. I got offered Sohee Ham, who is a veteran of the sport as far as her record goes. I mean, she has a really high record. I took an injury pretty late in camp, about a week out of camp. A week out before leaving to, again, Korea. And so my game plan changed, during the last week of camp because of the rib injury. So I just had to make adjustments. I don't really, stress too much on the losses. You know, I just try to take away from, you know, what happened in those fights. I mean, I went 3 rounds on 8 days' notice with the number 9 ranked girl in the world, put on a great show, you know, so I take that away from that. Like, I hung with that. You know, I'm not per se a striker, but I stood with a great kickboxer in Sohee Ham. I dropped her in the second and, you know, rocked her in the first. So, again, you know, I take away that from that fight. And then as it went on, you know, I got healthy. I had a little bit more time off. Again, it was another short camp with Stancio. I went out there and put on a show. You know, got a first-round submission with her. Got to show a little bit more of my game. And then, you know, I got another short fight after that with 202 with Randa. And, you know, I finished a girl who's never been finished before and submitted a girl who hasn't been submitted. So, you know, I definitely think it was just kind of getting my feet wet, kind of getting settled in, kind of realizing that, you know, offers come and you just always got to be ready. And a lot of the fights might be short notice, and you just got to go out there and do the best you can and always be prepared.
How much time did you get to prepare for this fighting?
It was a 7-week camp that got dropped down to a 5-week camp. I got the contract on a Monday, and I got in a car accident the Sunday night before. A pretty bad one. I was in the hospital for the night. So it was kind of one of those things like, should I take the fight, should I not take the fight? You know, we just ended up saying, you know what, this opportunity doesn't come often. They've already asked a whole bunch of people to take the fight. They all turned it down. I don't see them getting another person to take it. So we just decided that we can make adjustments. I talked to my doctor, you know, went to the chiropractor and a physical therapist, made sure that, you know, I was going to be okay to fight. And they said, you know, it's going to be a hard training camp. You got to take things slow, but you're used to those short camps. So it basically was a full camp that got turned into another short camp. But we made it work. We made the adjustments that we needed to make, and, you know, I definitely feel like I'm capable of going out there and doing my job.
Did you tell the UFC about the accident, or just kept it a secret?
I let Sean Shelby know. He said that he would try to get someone, you know, as an alternate. But since I got my contract, you know, Claudia got hers. She signed hers. As soon as she signed hers, it was on Brazil, you know what I mean? And the next day, Tuesday, he said that he'd give me a week to, you know, kind of figure it out. By the time Tuesday came, it was already everywhere, you know what I mean? So it's kind of that situation where now it looks like I'm pulling out of the fight instead of, you know, whoever the opponent was her original opponent. So it kind of, you know, put a little bit more emphasis on me making sure that I was going to be able to fight. I don't like pulling out of fights. I've never actually pulled out of a fight before, you know. So I technically hadn't signed my contract yet, so it wouldn't be pulling out of the fight. But in the eyes of the media and the eyes of the fans, it would have looked that way. And I definitely don't want them for it to come off that way. It's always harder to try to tell your story than, you know, it never happening to begin with. But I'm happy. I'm happy with my camp. I had a good camp. Again, we just had to make some adjustments and, you know, really focus on some smaller things. And again, I feel great. I feel great for this fight. So I'm excited. I'm happy. You know, everything's a blessing. Just being able to train a little bit differently might have helped me for this camp.
How bad was the accident? What actually happened?
We got rear-ended, no brake rear end, so the guy just wasn't paying attention, going about, I would say about 45, they said, and just plowed right into us with the car in front of us. We skidded about a good 2 car lengths before we hit the car in front of us, so I was able to kind of control the car after we got hit from behind. But that other impact in the front kind of did a lot of damage. All airbags deployed, car was totaled. It was pretty nuts.
And what did you hurt in the accident with?
My neck and my back, you know, the normal, but it was a little bit more intense than most. So, and again, for what we do, you know, it was supposed to be, you know, an 8 to 10 week recovery for what I was told from the chiropractor and the doctor, for like a receptionist to be able to go back to her job full time, to be able to sit and type and answer phones and move around and be decently comfortable. And I'm over here trying to do jiu-jitsu and, you know, boxing. So, you know, I took pretty much 3 weeks off with no contact, a lot of drilling, just a lot of movement drills and stuff like that, a lot of just strengthening my neck and my back again, and, you know, we just went with it.
I was 100% ready to fight Saturday.
I'm as 100% as I can be after a car accident. But yeah, I'm not making that as an excuse or anything like that. Like, trust me, I'm not. I'm just, you know, I mean, people pull out for broken fingers and, you know, sprained wrist and broken ribs. You know, I got in a car accident. I did what I needed to do. This is my job. I knew I was going to be ready. I just, again, had to make the adjustments. And if I wasn't going to be ready, trust me, I would have let them know. But again, you know, I'm used to those short camps, so I made the best of it. And I definitely think that, you know, with the alternate training that I did, actually kind of made me come in a little bit more healthy than normal.